I just talked to a couple of protesters who told me they are now heading home. They told me they don't want things to escalate. They want people to stay safe. So that is why some people are wrapping things up. But there's still a good amount out here, still marching, still protesting. And that is why there is such a massive police presence. SWAT officers and Metro Police have been closely following the protesters all night, as we've seen every night with these protests. Now, the passion and the message from protesters out here tonight was the same: justice for George Floyd and systematic racism. But they wanted to get that message out peacefully.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
We want to make sure that we separate ourselves between those people who incite violence. We are peaceful protesters.
Chris took the lead during a Black Lives Matter protest near UNLV Tuesday night to make sure the group continued to be peaceful protesters.
One of the things we wanted to do is march around the Fruit Loop, which is a very symbolic area of Las Vegas, which also represents the LGBTQ community and the Black trans community as well. So we stand with all Black Lives Matter.
About 100 people met near University Center in Naples.
Even over here for an hour, we have our voices heard.
Before the group took off, 2 Metro Police officers talked to the crowd.
So you're gonna go up this way, north on Paradise?
One man asked the officers to march with them. Lieutenant Nate Chio said considering Metro officer Shay Michelonis was shot during Monday's protest on the Strip, if they walked with them, it could make the crowd more of a target.
As much as we support your guys' message, we just don't want to endanger you and make sure that your safety is our paramount.
The man who asked the question wasn't satisfied with their answer.
The reason I asked them to march with us, if they're so concerned about protecting us, that they should be with us. They don't have to worry about somebody shooting pepper balls at them or fear of tear gas or any of that if they're with us.
The group marched past Thomas and Mack up Tropicana and back down Paradise. Several people told me they were heartbroken to hear of the violence that unfolded Monday night. And that's not their message, but said the trust between police and the Black community is still broken.
I want to walk down the street and I want to know that I'm being safe. I want to look at a cop car and know that their first duty is to serve and to protect, not to kill and not to murder.
Now, I just saw several Metro Police and SWAT cars head off in another direction. So like I said before, several protesters have headed home. Chris, who I introduced you to in that story, he is one of those protesters who went home for the night. He told me he wanted things to stay safe and he really didn't want things to escalate. So he and several others have already left. But again, a lot of times with these protests, they break off into smaller groups, and some of these smaller groups stay out here and linger. So we will be staying out here as well. We'll let you know what else unfolds throughout the rest of the night. Reporting live, I'm Kyla Gaylor.